Legal Tech Show.
Eccoci qua, buongiorno, buon pomeriggio, buonasera, a seconda di quando voi state ascoltando questo nostro podcast. Questo è il Legal Tech Show, il primo e forse unico Legal Tech Show in Italia e che quindi, se non altro per questo, come dico sempre, ha un grande successo. Oggi parliamo di legal design. Legal design è una cosa molto affascinante che non riguarda il mondo della moda, ma continua a riguardare noi operatori del settore legale, avvocati, magistrati, giuristi in genere. Intanto saluto Nicolino Gentile che ancora una volta sfida con me, insomma, il mercato e il mercato dell'informazione su queste tematiche molto molto delicate. Quindi ciao Nicolino e ben trovato.
Ciao Silvano, grazie mille, ben trovato.
Ecco, come potete già vedere per chi è non solo in ascolto ma anche in visione del nostro podcast, oggi abbiamo con noi un ospite in effetti d'eccezione, Tessa Manuello, pronuncio il suo nome in italiano date le sue ascendenze liguri italiane, anche se è una amica e una professionista canadese, che è una delle massime esponenti del mondo del legal tech a livello internazionale. È stata sin dall'inizio pioniera in questa materia e, devo dire, una speaker riconosciuta a livello internazionale, è una Certified High Performance Coach, è considerata uno dei riferimenti mondiali nel legal design e nell'innovazione. È molto ambita e regolarmente invitata a parlare al pubblico internazionale in tutto il mondo come leader di un pensiero che è sempre all'intersezione tra l'innovazione, la creatività, il diritto. Ha anche una grande community, una grande comunità su internet, ha un grande seguito proprio in ambito di legal design. Con i suoi eventi, con i suoi virtual training molto coinvolgenti e molto motivanti, riesce ad interessare davvero tutti. Ha a sua volta anche lei un suo podcast di Legal Creatives. Good morning Tessa, and thank you for your availability. We are very happy to have you here with us in our podcast. I will start with a general question. So what is for you legal design? And what does it mean for lawyers, for example, for internal legal counsel, or even for a judge, for example?
Well, thank you, Donato. Thank you, Nicolo, for the invitation to share on the podcast with the Italian audience. I'm really excited about this opportunity to talk about legal design. Legal design is an innovative methodology that is especially relevant for all of the stakeholders in the legal sector. So whether it's a legal professional working in a law firm or in a legal department or even a judge or administrative staff in the court system, legal design can help in many ways. And I think the most important way legal design can help is to make the law and to make legal services and the court system more accessible to the users. When we talk about users, we talk about the people or the companies that actually need the law to, achieve an objective or to solve a problem. And very often the law is perceived by the users to be extremely complicated, to be also very difficult to navigate. The court system is very slow, it's very bureaucratic, and it is perceived to be too complex for the users. And legal design is understanding that the users are experiencing some pain points, some issues in law, and when using the law as well. And so the whole objective of legal design is to make this journey easier, to make law more effective from their perspective. So this is why it requires this mindset shift to start thinking like a user and to, for a moment, change the lens and use a different pair of glasses to not just see the court system or the law with the legal glasses, but to put the glasses of the user and to understand how they experience the system so we can deliver a better experience, a system that is more, like delivering justice outcomes promptly in a more engaging way.
Thanks,
and so maybe I can go a bit deeper, because you asked me about law firms, legal departments, and judges. So let me talk a little bit about that. I believe the biggest potential of legal design for law firm is to actually stand out from the competition, to also have an experience for the customer, a customer experience that is going to help the law firm retain its clients, also get more referrals from their existing client base, and to really have a customer journey that is going to help this law firm bring more value. And because they bring more value, they will be able to retain the customers better. And I think for the law firm, the biggest advantage is very commercial. It's a very commercial advantage. Now, for legal department, the biggest advantage is that this methodology is allowing to deliver more value internally in the organization. And it's a really innovative methodology to rebrand the legal department. Internally, the legal department has this reputation of being the department that usually, kills the deal, makes everything slowing down, And with legal design, it's about rebranding the legal department and showing a different image, delivering more value, and being able to do more with less, because we have to acknowledge the times are difficult for everyone, and even the legal department, it's perceived as a cost center, and it needs more than ever before to deliver more value with less resources. And so thinking about how to use technology, how to deliver the service to the internal users using legal design, I think is a phenomenal opportunity. Now, for the judge, what's really interesting is that the judge is starting to be interested in legal design, because some cases are really complex, even for the judge to understand. And I've heard some stories of colleagues who use legal design in drafting the memorandum, using more visuals, using more graphics instead of just text, and it helped the judge better understand. So instead of writing more text, the lawyer decided to use legal design to actually explain the situation for the judge, to make the work of the judge easier. And in Brazil, there are many judges who are now using legal design when they send the judgment, providing a one-page summary with some designs and graphic to make the law more understandable, to make the decisions easier to understand for the users.
Tessa, this is very, very interesting. But I think that I know that many of our listeners struggle to understand. So give us an example. You know that the lawyers in particular are culturally very traditional. So is a lawyer required to write the summons, the documents in a more graphically pleasing way, with some design, some pictures instead of words, instead of particular arguments? Are talking about this kind of solutions?
Thank you, Donato, for this very important question. Design is known as designing objects, or as you say, designing fashion. But when we talk about legal design, we talk about something completely different. We talk about using the design thinking innovative methodology in the legal sector. And the legal design can include visuals and graphics and colors, different fonts, different architecture for your document, but it is not just about the visuals. The design as we know it, graphic design, can be helpful in the legal design space, but it is not just about the graphics. Legal design is a complete methodology where you place the user at the center of the innovation you are trying to develop. And whether this innovation is redesigning the summons or designing a one-page summary by the judge, whether it's developing a tool in the legal department to make also the law more understandable, the contracts, for instance. There's a lot of work being done in legal design for contracts because most of the contract users do not understand their contracts. And so the contracts are drafted by lawyers for other lawyers or for judges. And legal design says there is a different way to deliver those contracts, to deliver legal services, to deliver judgments. And that is by understanding who is the user and how can we better communicate to the user the content of the law. And very often this means using visuals, but sometimes it means using technology, but this technology needs to answer the pain points of the users. So it's not just about developing the best AI or the best blockchain system. It's before everything starting with the user. Understand what are the pain points. And there's been great initiatives, for instance, in India, where there's been some great work done using visuals, only visuals, to make sure everyone understands their rights. And that is a great legal design initiative. But there's been other initiatives where there's absolutely no visuals and it's just technology, but technology developed by involving the user in the process of developing this technology.
So thanks, Tessa. The prevailing thing is the mindset, the need to change the mindset, if I understand well, and or is getting the new skills that you need to help your changing mindset deliver new kind of services, a new way of delivering services.
Yes, absolutely. There are different skills that need to be acquired for legal professionals to do legal design. And those skills should not replace legal skills. They should be in addition to the legal skills, in addition to the legal knowledge. And those skills mean being able to, think more creatively about the law. That means using more of your creativity in order to come up with new solutions. But it's also being more empathic, like having empathy for your user to really understand from their point of view how they experience working with you in your law firm, or how they experience the legal department in the organization, or how litigants experience the court system when we talk about judges. And all of that is something that you can learn, and everyone can learn this. There are techniques, and those techniques help you follow the steps of the methodology so you can develop those innovative solutions. And ultimately, this is how you can do this mindset shift. So this mindset shift is about understanding who is the user, what are the biggest problems they experience when they work with law firms, or when they work with the legal department, or when they experience the court system. And once you empathize with the user, you understand those pain points, then you can start thinking creatively about how you can offer a new solution that will make the experience frictionless. You want to create the best customer experience, including for the litigants. I mean, justice is in some way a service that is being delivered. And so you want to create the best service for people to be able to access this service and to also have the outcomes that they expect. And this is why for law firms, legal design has a huge potential, to be able to create a totally new experience of the law. And some law firms are starting to onboard on this journey, creating new experiences for startups, for instance, but also sometimes creating new experiences for divorce, like people who divorce. And there are some great initiatives in the US. I think it's called Hello Divorce. And it is developed using legal design, understanding the pains of, a divorce, and then all of the legal work that needs to be done. How can we make this easier, less painful, and driven towards giving the results that the people expect?
Thank you, Tessa. This is the point. In my opinion, the best part of the legal design phenomenon is the accessibility, the possibility that the consumers, the citizens, have to enter in multiple way through the law and through the rights and to the duties they have. So this is a very important thing. What I'm not really certain is that probably depends on the experience, because if I imagine in our experience, the lawyers in Italy, in the first documents you have to file to the counterpart, the summons, we in Italy probably, based on our tradition, we have a sort of design of our document, because we have, for example, the initial part is always the same, with the indication of the parts and counterparts, the epigraph. After that, we have a space dedicated to the premises, another part dedicated to focus on the facts, a third part focused on the rights, and the conclusion at the end of the summons. This is a sort, this is a sort of design, because it's always the same, with different contents based on the different situation. But probably, I don't know if I can understand you considering the documentary relationship between the lawyers and the judge, with the detail of the legal arguments you need to explain and you need to bring to the attention of the judge. Mm-hmm. So this is my opinion. It is possible in the accessibility of the legal rights of the law in every part of the legal system, but probably in the
finding of the relationship
between the technical part, it's very, very difficult to understand how we can approach.
Well, let me give you some more real-life insights into this question. I think it's a very important question. Some jurisdictions have more restriction as to how you have to file the submissions in the court system. So now we're talking exclusively about the court system. And in the court system, if you have those requirements, as you said, this is design, but we are not conscious about this design. So we are using this template because we've used it for centuries. And so we continue to use this template.
It is a passive use. It's a passive use.
Exactly. It's unconscious. We've done it for years and centuries. So we continue to use this template. But today, with this new methodology that has been successful in other industries, and now that is entering the legal sector, it's an opportunity to rethink the way we work, to rethink the way we access justice, to rethink the way we draft submissions. And in other jurisdictions where there are less restrictions, like Brazil, there's been submissions that were submitted using videos, using some videos to explain the case. In other countries, maybe videos will not be allowed. So then there's been use of some graphics to explain, the situation, the facts, and it makes the understanding of the facts easier, faster as well for the judge. And many judges have said, we actually love those redesigned submissions because they make our job easier. I will spend 50% less time, I'm just making a number here, but 50% less time reading this submission than the traditional one. And in some jurisdictions, because the courts are so overloaded with cases, you need to find ways to speed up the process because people are waiting for justice. And if those methodologies are allowing the judge to actually be more effective, then why not reconsidering the way we do things? Because now we have new technologies, we have new methodologies. So it's an opportunity to evaluate, to rethink, and maybe also make some decisions to start doing things differently. And very often, it doesn't mean to change everything from day one. You can start with a prototype. And prototyping means just a project pilot. Let's start with a project pilot and see if this methodology is really effective. And there are some measurements that you can do. So you can use some metrics to evaluate in a very objective and rational manner if legal design is more effective than traditional law. And in most of the cases, if not all of the cases, the research we have done shows that it's more effective. People understand better, they are saving time, they are saving resources, and they feel that it is more satisfactory for them. So if the research indicates that users actually appreciate the legal design documents or experience, and that it's allowing the legal professionals to save time and touch more people, like serve more people, then why not giving this methodology a chance, at least with a pilot project?
Thanks, Tessa. Can I ask you something? Do you think that I was thinking about that. Maybe legal design is becoming has become a need because of the more technology we have and we are we have the habit to use. So we have a lot of technology that we didn't have in the past. We are more keen on technology. We are more about using mobile. We are more about using videos, audios, and we are maybe more conscious. People are more conscious of the need of understanding things. I know that legal design doesn't mean design, as you explained, design in terms of only aesthetical, because it's a process, it's a mental process, but also the design of furniture, let's say Bauhaus and so on, was about bringing art to the things we use every day, so that we can be more happy in using a pen or a chair, also because it's beautiful, not only because it's functional. So maybe if we could, let's say the best result would be if we can use legal services or justice services being, let's say, happy
sort of a good experience.
A good experience.
For sure.
Kind of services.
I love this example of the chair because the chair is designed and there's a basic design that fits everybody, and the utility is to sit down and be comfortable on your chair. Maybe you read a book on your chair, maybe you have dinner on your chair, but you're sitting down. That's the utility. Then there's been designers who have created chairs with more sophisticated features. Maybe the shape is different, maybe the colors, the texture, maybe it's really creative. But the chair doesn't have to be a creative chair. It doesn't have to be a sophisticated design, but it can be. And I think in law, it's the same. Legal design is about making sure the law is useful for the people. And then you can create more sophistication, or you can just deliver a basic, fundamental kind of system for everyone to understand. And what's really interesting about legal design is you become more conscious about and intentional when you deliver the service, the kind of experience you are giving to your customers. And you can match this experience with your branding, with your values. So you can really be creative and develop your own approach to legal services or your own approach in your legal department with a new branding. And this is what is interesting. But at the core of legal design, it's about making the law more useful, because it is useful, but it is so difficult to access it and to understand it. Most users start to feel it is not so useful because it's too slow, it's too complicated, and it's really difficult to understand. And so the objective is to sort of catch those users and show them that law is useful and it doesn't need to be so complicated. And that's what people expect. With the new technologies, like you have said, we are used, everyone, to have an easy experience of those apps we have on our phone, of the tools we have on our computers. We are used to this ease of use. It's easy to use. When it's complicated, ourselves, we just stop using the tool because we are demotivated. We need to be understanding that users now have those new consumer habits, those new expectations. Everything needs to be fast and everything needs to be easy. And the
Yes,
law is slow
that's
and
what
it's not easy.
I was
And
saying.
and
Sorry
people
for
are not
interrupting.
understand. Exactly.
Yes, that was that's the thing I tried to explain earlier. So we are more demanding also because we know the instruments we can use, so we want things to go faster and in the smoothest way we can. So also about legal services and justice services. My focus is more on the justice and on the how the masses, bringing law to the masses, because basically I know, and it is a really important thing also internally in the legal department that has to communicate better with other internal department of the company. So legal design can help the internal legal counsel not to be considered as, you know, an obstacle to the deal. And this is really important. But talking about mindset and in justice, I want to share another talk I was saying. I was making in Italian civil procedure. We have the center of the process is the judge, is not the parties, are not the parties. The civil procedure code is designed, is written, having the judge at the center of the process. So if we want to change the mindset and the logics that are you know, around and under the justice delivery in Italy, and I talk about Italy obviously, we should help the judges in changing their mindset in order to put at the center, on the focus of the process, the parties and their needs.
Yes,
Absolutely. It's an insightful comment. And in some countries, because of the structure of the system, it can be more challenging to use legal design because the structure, as you said, is centered on the judge. So how do you put the center, how do you shift the center of attention from the judge to the parties? And I think the judge is here to serve the parties, is here to deliver justice outcomes to the citizens. And if we are able to use legal design to save time, for the judge to be able to make a decision faster. Maybe that involves developing some tools for the judges to be able to be more effective, save resources, save time. This ultimately will benefit the parties. And so I think we need to start with the pandemic. It has been the perfect example that the digitalization is really about the eagerness to do it, because with the pandemic, nobody had the choice to digitalize, and suddenly the courts are starting to be doing hearings online, and so many things are happening online. And so I think we need to find the pain points from the judge perspective. So then it would mean placing the judge as the user of a legal design process and starting to understand what are the pain points experienced by the judge when they are dealing with those cases, and come up with new solutions to help them do do what they have to do in a more effective way. And it could be really interesting. There's an ocean of opportunity because legal design is still fairly new, although it is not so new. The first researchers in legal design date back from 1992 in Switzerland. And then there's been the Stanford Design Lab that was created in 2013. And so there are quite some, rich experiences we can learn. It's not completely new. We can learn from each other, and we should learn from each other.
Okay. Tessa, we are approaching the end of our podcast. Just a few words on how we can test what you tell us. Who do you work with? And in what way, in which way? How can we taste your way to intense the legal work, the legal design?
Thank you for your question. To get started with legal design, you need to have those new skills. You need to learn the methodology, and you need to test it. You need to practice it. This is why with the company I created that is called Legal Creatives, we are entirely focused on education, educating the legal professionals in this methodology so they can get to learn exactly the steps, the techniques, build the skills, and operate this mindset shift. And for that, there's a lot of practice. So what you need to do in order to get started, you need to learn, you need to practice, and you need to do that with a community. So very likely you can find some professionals who think like you in Italy and beyond, and start connecting with them, engaging with them, asking questions, trying things. At Legal Creatives, we do some legal design challenges to help the community that is learning with us practice. So what we do is we spot an opportunity. Recently, we spotted an opportunity with digital privacy, because there's been a lot of discussions with the WhatsApp new privacy policy. Apple has created a new privacy feature, and we said there's an opportunity for legal design. So instead of just talking about it, let's do it. So we had Academy members sign up for the challenge if they wanted to take the challenge and practice with a small team internationally. We've had some Italians actually do this challenge and they loved it. And it's a great way to learn because you practice. And at the end, you have a prototype. You can show that in your portfolio. So it's a great way to start building the skills, but also building potential new solutions. Yeah. And so I think this is, if you feel like the calling, I would encourage you to connect with your great podcast host, to connect with me on LinkedIn, Tessa Manuello. If you would like, check legalcreatives.com. But be sure to start. Start quickly and start small. Don't wait too long, because legal design is taking a lot of expansion right now. And this is the perfect timing to get started. So if you feel like this urge, or if you have this curiosity, then just connect and engage in this conversation, because it's happening in the world and it's an interesting and fascinating journey. So I highly recommend you give it a try.
Okay, Tessa, fantastic. We hope to work together soon in a nice project for Italy.
That will be amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time, and I look forward to hear the insights from your audience on this really important topic of legal design.
Ok,
Grazie
mille Tessa, grazie ai nostri ascoltatori. Ci sentiamo, ci vediamo in occasione del prossimo appuntamento con il Legal Tech Show. Ciao a tutti.
Saluti a tutti.